What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. Yet another edition of Throwback Thursday. Jeff, I know you've been enjoying the content as much as I've been enjoying digging through and putting it all up and together.
I'm not gonna lie. I was trepidatious watching this, especially my stuff. I hate watching my stuff, you know that. But it's been interesting to go back and watch it because, as I said, I become less of a dick as the shows go on Talk Wrestling, which is thank God I did because the first show was so bad. But man, you have been like reaching into the vault, man. I almost feel like I want to grab Mickey Mouse on SNL. I'm like, no, protect the content. They didn't sell. So man, such good stuff to watch, and today is no exception, sir.
Yes, thank you once again to Aaron Rift of the NoDQ YouTube channel, James Hebert of the JH95 / FTW Productions, Noel Foster from the Simple Man brand, and of course, you, good sir, for the
Yes,
Jeff Meacham Network, for allowing me access to all the content that was previously discussed in private
yes,
amongst all of you guys, because there are limitations about what can and can't be posted, but
yeah. Unfortunately,
especially a big thank you once again to Aaron Rift for allowing me access to the no DQ stuff. That stuff has really helped make the process and the Throwback Thursdays succeed and thrive, I think.
absolutely.
Sit back, relax, everybody, enjoy as we bring to you yet another week of Throwback Thursday content.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Jeff Meacham Network. The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, JJ Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it!
The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert.
Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies! There you go! It sells itself!
God.
Get in there!
Showed his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ, give it time.
Now, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW light. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. You kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
He's no longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen!
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. So it's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine.
That's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
Football thing. We ended on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the thing goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the season premiere of Open Mic Night. That's right. The regulars are back today on a new channel, sort of, as we are still broadcasting on the Jeff Meacham Network as well. We've got the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. We've got James Hebert. We've got the Simple Man Noah Foster. And we have a very special guest coming into the studio today. We've got the lovely Miss Jessi Davin coming in to talk about her latest article that she wrote.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here to talk about it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's good that we have you here because, man, it's timing of the essence probably right now, especially the day after All Out with all the craziness that happened. So, again, very, very appreciative that you're on with us tonight for sure.
I'm glad to be here. A good Buckeye win, as Josh said. IO, so I'm happy. I'm riding high on that that win, so I'm living off of adrenaline a little bit.
Ohio represent.
Yes.
Loving seeing Josh and Cleaver in the chat room, boys. OH!
Ohio
takes over the internet.
We are taking out. We got 3 words for. I can't do the promos fast before I go out loud.
OVE, Ohio versus everything. Let's go.
OVE.
There we go. Anyway.
There you go.
Got a lot of people coming in today. This is awesome.
Yeah,
seeing some regulars,
for this.
seeing some people that I've never seen before. So for all of you joining the chat room, thank you so much. Let's get right down to business here.
Right.
I guess we'll start off with what inspired the article for those of the people in the chat room that haven't read it yet. What was your inspiration for the article?
Well, it's a culmination of things. I've been doing a lot of independent research on I'm a person who struggles to understand like evil and the why, but I have this yearning to try and understand evil and why. So I've been doing a lot of research into like mass casualty events, more specifically ones that have recently happened, and how helpless you can feel after something like that happens. And then to see like all the people that complain and moan about it that actually have power do absolutely nothing about it, no matter what side you're on. I was really like, okay, well, I think I'm tired of feeling helpless. I'm tired of feeling scared. What I can do is become aware, become a person that can help change the community that I live in and the communities that I associate with for the better. So on top of doing all of this research and reading, studies and books and things like that on kind of the dangers of technology and the role that technology can play in this stuff.
Yep.
I've been relentlessly harassed. I've been stalked. I've had to go to court. I've been threatened with my life. I've had my kids threatened. And I've been made fun of for a disability that I did not choose to have. So it kind of just, for a long time, I went through the kind of like, woe is me, or, kind of like anger. And then I was like, I have these two kind of like worlds that I'm like involved in, this research world and this pro wrestling world. And I'm seeing a lot of like intersecting, and I'm seeing a lot of merging here that I'm very concerned with. And as I read on and did more research and learned about like it's kind of hilarious, but especially considering maybe it's called leakage and attack related behavior, I was like, there's some of this going on in our community. And so the article was tough to write, not because it was like something I was scared to write. I was super happy to write it. I've been wanting to write that for a long time, but it was very difficult to write something like that without providing evidence. And I do have a stance where I don't like to name mass shooters because I feel like that gives them glorification. And if you read anything about mass casualty incidents and the people that perpetrate them, a lot of times they look up to other perpetrators of mass killings, and I felt like sharing the ideas like that I've read that they have like in their manifestos or their Discord logs or in their interrogations or in the subsequent investigations that follow. I didn't feel like I wanted to share those ideologies, so I had to be very vague, which was really difficult. But I did my best to give examples specifically of online incidences that have occurred, that have happened in the wrestling community and outside of the wrestling community. But it just provides, kind of a warning to, the IWC that we live in an age of technology and it's a blessing and a curse. And we are professional wrestling fans, and by nature it is violent, which there's nothing wrong with liking pro wrestling because it's violent. We all like it. But I think the big red flag is not the big red flag, but I should say the big problem is with professional wrestling, there are blurred lines between reality and what is storyline. And that happens like in wrestling no matter what. We're always like, is this a work or shoot? Work or shoot? And shoot, I know that's probably not the best word considering what I'm talking about, but that is when a danger can present, and that is when vulnerable individuals who are online can have those lines blurred even further. And with professional wrestling being that way and just seeing the alarming behavior that I've seen within the IWC, I was like, man, people need to know about this. People need to know these warning signs. People need to know how to recognize this and not attack these people. Check in on them. Make sure they're okay. Like, come at them with love, because I feel like there's a lack of love going on. And so I know I'm kind of ranting on that, but there was so much that went on that contributed to this, I guess, essay you want to say, that I wrote. And I felt like it was really important because, like I said, we're all on duty. We're all on duty. We have to police ourselves. We can't rely on Twitter or, the police or whoever you think is in charge. You have to be in charge, and you have to be in charge, and you have to help the people that surround you, because hurt people, but healed people and helped people can help people.
Yep.
Absolutely. Number one, don't be ashamed to rant and ramble on. We deal with Jeff on a regular basis. He's known for rambling. So,
I'm the king of it sometimes.
I'm just here to listen and give my 2 cents, because more so I'm just the guy here that listens. And again, Jessi, I completely can understand your conscious statement on the reality that is the internet resident community, as well as the real interpretation of how it really shapes our society. So that's my biggest take, definitely, just from your opening inspiration to do this.
Yeah. Speaking of inspiration, Josh commented saying that Jessi is an inspiration in general.
Amen to that one.
The Cleaver says, hope you're doing well, fellow Ohioan, kidney cancer survivor. The two of you exchanged words once on Twitter. Thank you for the kind words at that time.
Thank you for being so awesome and being a badass surviving cancer.
And then Elizabeth Delgado, amazing to see you all together with someone I consider an inspiration in recent months. Hope you're doing well, Jessi.
Thank you. I hope you're doing well, Elizabeth.
I would love to comment specifically on one part of your inspiration, because I think, I did my own research in video form. There was a couple podcasts I've done kind of delving into the toxicity of the IWC. It was like a 2 podcast type special where one was a 2-parter, where we were kind of covering the, certain corny boy and, just the radical way he kind of goes about expressing his opinion. And I think it's very important when you say, not only do people look up to, people who do the heinous crimes that, you kind of talked about in your article, but also people, whether they intend to or not, that have essentially had ideas or have expressed thoughts in harming certain people, like a Kenny Omega, for example. It's really stark to realize like how far we've kind of developed, how far it's just kind of gone completely left on that front. Like, we just gone completely the opposite direction of where we should be going when it comes to stuff like this. And it's really concerning. So when you posted that article, I mean, I think the timing couldn't have been any better than it was.
Well, thank you. I did not mean to manifest the all-out brawl. If that
no, not at all. But, absolutely not what I meant. Yeah.
No, I know.
I don't blame you for that at all.
But it is, no, it was impeccable timing.
Yeah.
I think, well, the reason I posted was because there's one particular user who I won't name who has been. I was reading this book and I was like, oh my god! I was like, this person's showing all of these signs of like someone who's going to do this. I was telling my friends, like, we need to call the FBI and stuff like that. I was like, I need to get this out now. And so I posted it like I think right after the All Out thing, I think it was probably because I don't remember, but yeah, it's just I was like, this needs to be heard because I felt like that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm so sorry, Greg. I know, Marshall. I wanted Notre Dame to win.
They had a rough morning, to say the very least, out there at the Fighting Irish, man. It's oof, tough day across the board for those guys. Hopefully they rebound.
Such is the word of sport. You have a winner, you have a loser. Everyone puts their all in, but not everybody can be victorious.
That is the unfortunate part. Now they've done away with ties. Somebody's got to lose, and it is what it is.
One of the reasons I reached out to you, by the way, and the reason I wanted to have you on is because you were exactly what you said. Because you were so, you had to be so vague and you had to be so diplomatic. Which, by the way, I think all of us absolutely can appreciate you being as diplomatic as you were. But I also understand that at the end of the day, and you even said it, people are people, right?
Right.
Hurt people, help people.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're human beings, and I know you need to kind of have more of an open forum, especially when you cover the serious topics that you did, which is the whole reason I brought you on. Because I think you deserve a voice that's going to let you kind of just go and free flow. Like, that's basically what this show has been for me. I know it's been that way for Noah and JJ, especially for Jeff, since he started it with us. It's just I wanted that type of platform for you. So that's one of the reasons why I'm glad you're here. For sure.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm really glad that I could go into a little bit more depth on this, and because it's so much to try to explain on Twitter. I mean, my God, I don't want to be one of those people that has to open up the notes app. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, post a novel, 2 screenshots. I know exactly what you're talking about. 240 characters cannot justify simply what sums up the blurred lines between actual human society and a particular part, not the only part, but the particular part we're focusing on here, the internet wrestling community.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any other questions? I know I have my statements on it, but I didn't know if anybody else had any other questions on it.
Well, I think Sean has a question for y'all.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sean just sent in a $2 super chat, a little bit off topic. But, we always do say on open mic night that, we get the super chats and they can kind of, interrupt the show. So we're going to take this quick hiatus. Does Liv beat Ronda at Extreme Rules?
Yes, and then Ronda and Shayna come together to take over the WWE and break everybody in their way, kayfabe-wise.
Yes.
Ooh.
Sure, why not?
I would like that.
Does Liv beat Ronda at Extreme Rules?
On the spot.
No.
We've broken her.
No. Because why have Ronda go 0-3?
Right.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Why are you going to put a former UFC champion into an Extreme Rules match?
It's weird.
And have her lose at Extreme Rules?
To be fair, exactly. Triple H trying to change things. And Seth went 0-3 against Cody. Truth be told, he's not MMA background anyway, but they both still work under the same banner, and they both were still under the same type of storytelling. Who can beat the other? When does the win happen? Under what circumstances? Truth be told, none of those 3 matches involve a championship. One involved a Red Creative Hate. The other one involved WrestleMania rematch at Backlash. Hello, Dr. Seuss. But I digress.
And honestly, if they're still going to do Raw versus SmackDown at Survivor Series, I think there's more money with Ronda versus Bianca than there is with Liv and Bianca.
Yeah.
I still say the money match is Ronda Becky if they ever do it here. Please do it in WrestleMania, please.
But that's not till Mania. But that's not till Mania. Survivor Series has been champion versus champion.
I know.
So
if I'm putting my booking hat on, which I usually do on podcasts like this, I'm making Ronda win somehow and get those the singles titles, and then I'm teaming Sonya Deville up with Shayna and just getting the tag titles because I think that makes the most sense for all 3 involved.
Honestly, I would like to see Shayna and Ronda have both the Raw and Women Championships. Literally took over the WWE. Try beating those 2 together.
Yeah. That's fair too.
And Mikey T out there, Parker Radio, manifesting Ronda being taken out. No, Mikey T, that's a bad Mikey T. We actually need to get this match going. We need to make that thing. We need to make that a thing.
Hey,
man, I appreciate that.
Booking 101.
It was great. It was great, minus the blimp on the radar of social media informing me that, hey, this thing happened in this company you like. It's lovely.
And let's circle it back around to what we're talking about. So yeah, 240 characters cannot justify simply what defines society and this fabrication we fans have come to live in, known as the internet wrestling community. Some more than others, which has definitely changed their perception, not just on the industry, but their very lives themselves.
Yeah.
Right. I think, social media, the thing about social media, especially with Twitter, is it has both enhanced the experience, but it's also created, while enhancing the experience, but also enhanced the dangers.
Yep.
It's, like I said, sometimes, you'll see, Chris Jericho being super in character, and then you'll post a picture of him and his wife at a concert and be like, me and my wife are having the best time. And you're like, wait a minute, weren't you just insulting somebody 10 minutes ago? Social media very much has blurred the lines between what is real and what is kayfabe, and honestly, leaving it up to Twitter to decide what's a shoot and what's a work is not the best idea.
No.
Especially when everybody's trying to judge it for themselves, and nobody comes up with a realistic answer to the point that it drives them
fights about why their answer's right.
Right, and they want to believe that they are the gospel. They have the truth in front of their hands because they read it from some publication or they manifest it from their minds. Give me a break.
Right.
Twitter is simply opinion. People are simply a statement. Nothing is truth unless it's directly from the very person themselves. And you can't simply trust what you read on the internet.
No, that's why Wikipedia is not considered a scholarly source, because anybody can, put anything on there. It's up to you to click the little number at the top of a statement and go read the source and see if that is actually what it says in the first place.
Right.
You have to be your own information advocate, especially on social media, and people don't realize that because they don't want to. They just want social media to be an escape. But it's not an escape when it starts to interfere with the way your boundaries between reality and fiction, and what is satire and what is serious.
Yep.
Human beings are not designed to read something and not put emotion to it. We're going to all read something, and because everything is subjective, we're all going to read something a different way. For instance, the text, okay, that can just mean, okay, or okay, or okay, or okay. You can put any emotion to it.
Exactly.
So everybody's going to react to it differently. Go ahead.
What's just to lighten the mood up a little bit? What's the emotion when you say occasionally like this? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What?
For a moment, I thought James Heber was gonna go South Park on me with the okay. I thought I was gonna go that way.
Oh man, we forgot about that emotion.
James is getting crunk up in here.
We're not getting crunk up in here, okay? That's
you understand that reference? We love you for that.
You want the kids to be better heard that way. We don't need that sort of influence, okay? You just gotta be better. Okay.
I'm finding this eternally fascinating to just sit back and listen to, and the reason I say that is because I think this is the first week since I started my own stuff where I have completely disconnected. I did a brief 20-minute thing on, I think it was Thursday. It may have been Friday morning. I don't remember when it was. It was Thursday before the review. And I've not even – I read the article, and it was wonderful, and it was so perfectly timed, and I can't even appreciate it enough in front of you. And with or without you on the air, I will totally kiss the butt of how awesome that was. But I've been watching Pinocchio this week with my family, and I've been watching Star Trek stuff, and I've just been enjoying not letting the Gaga get in because it got in deep into my brain Sunday night. Like I said, when we went off the air, I was so on a high, man. I got to, have a great pay-per-view call on my channel with this wonderful team here with me. I'm like, all right, that's a great note to go out on. And then I made the idiotic choice of watching the media scrum. I was like, oh, Phil, why you do, Phil? Oh, no. And then it just kind of
doing Phil things
from there over the last few days. It's just unfortunate that, and again, I don't disagree with a lot of people that are saying, Phil, gets condemned, but, people that have done this stuff in the past, it's unfortunately the idea of retroactive condemning isn't always the best policy. Like, people screw up, but, you can't bring folks back, from the dead or, bring them back into the public eye if they're already gone. It's kind of, you have to handle the situation when it's at hand and handle it before it gets out of hand. It's already out of hand. But it seems like, at least on Wednesday night's broadcast, they seem to be moving forward on that front.
Exactly.
I love, and again, I'm trying very hard to not completely crawl down people's throats or, ignorantly praise, but it seemed like to me that the decision was made. Okay, we can't just not address it, right?
Right.
So, new champions, no interim nonsense. It's just, okay, they're gone, and it was not said how long anybody's gone, if they're going to come back, whatever. It was just, okay, we've got new trios champions, we're going to crown a new world champion. Boom, done. I didn't like WWE, kind of side sculpting it on SmackDown. That was kind of shitty, I'm not going to lie.
What'd they say? I missed it.
So, well, for one thing,
Fox.
Natty on Twitter, who we all adore Natty in this room, at least I do, JJ and I do, was having her assistant on Twitter, Bob, talk about, just kind of side mentioning the whole, eating the pastry thing, that Paul.
Oh yeah.
Just little shit, and then they announced there was an internal investigation on Adam Pearce for what happened with Ronda, and it's just like, really, it's so. And the fact that people on the internet took it and completely went off on it. They could have been parodying their own damn selves with the thing going on with Vince, for all we know. It's just so.
Oh my god! Did that happen too? Oh my god! I just remembered that.
Yeah, well, God, the thing with Vince, no. and again, we've all on this show kind of almost relished in the fact that something finally took him down. It's like, yeah, that's great. Vince needs to be held accountable for what happened and again, everything's all that word allegedly still, right?
Yeah, legally you have to say allegedly.
Exactly. Air quotes.
The fact that we honestly, and we can all admit at least a little bit, took a little bit of, okay, good, at least something's going to finally, put a crack in the armor and slow the old man down. It's like, why is that our giddy? Why is that a thing? Like, why are we taking happiness in the downfall of this man who his entire life has been this? Like, he's not going to go, into his home in Connecticut and do anything else. He's going to sit there and wither away and die because this is what he does. This is what he knows. And that's sad, for me. And it might seem a little hypocritical for me to say that, because I've not been kind about talking about Vince McMahon a lot over the years, but this entire summer, I'll even say the whole summer has just been laden with almost the complete resurgence of the toxicity of the IWC. Like it's increased so exponentially, and your article and the buzz it's generated, most of it good. I know you still got the backlash, and Lord knows it's going to happen, especially on that damn 280 character platform. Let's not even front.
Yeah, actually wasn't as bad as I thought. But
the fact that the article was there, and people are seeing it and they're responding to it, and that is so timely. And I think that with what happened with Vince, or what we found out, I should say, happened with Vince, brewing for a long time. People being allowed to see
the inside of a wrestling industry.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Twitter, social media is the best and worst thing that ever happened to professional wrestling.
Exactly.
I've said that for years. Social media, period, but especially Twitter. Being able to see exactly what CM Punk was really about, and not that glossy, made up for Chicago TV pretty filter he got a year ago. Because he went and sat at that table, and that was straight up Phil being pissy. That's just what it was. And whether we agree with him and his reasons for being pissy or not, they finally broke down all the walls and was like, all right, look, I'm old, I'm tired, I work with fucking children. It's like, well, yeah, Phil, you do. But you also went out there a year ago and said, don't tear down your coworkers, don't do this and that. It's like, dude, if you're that tired, and again, I saw, and I think it was one of our NoDQ teammates, so forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but it was mentioned that the injury he sustained, when you sustain an injury, it messes with your head. I don't care what line of work you're in, especially in athletics. If you sustain an injury, it mind F's you. It does.
Yep.
So that could be part of it. But again, that I said it on either Sunday night or Monday morning. That starts at the top. If you've got talent who is at least kind of outwardly expressing that, you're not going to have a good situation, you as the boss need to, you go sit over there until you cool down, go have a water, have a Pepsi or whatever you need to do. There you go. Yeah. Or whatever the hell we were drinking on that damn table.
Yeah.
He was mad to say Coke instead of Pepsi.
I saw your tweet saying, what if he was mad because he was hangry?
You know what?
I mean, he wasn't getting paid straight. He just had a war with Moxley.
When you get to be ages like Moxley and I'm even in that age. God, I hate that I'm up there in the age bracket myself. You get hangry. Shit happens. Get a Snickers for real. I mean, really.
I almost did the whole Snickers ad overlay on it, but I didn't want to fuel the fire. You know what I mean? Because
people can't take a joke.
You know what? Yeah, you just so wonderfully explained your feelings and how you feel about that, and how Phil, CM Punk leaving the ring and then Phil entering that press conference, how that upsets you and why you feel it should upset. Here's the thing. Because it's pro wrestling, there are a lot of people out there, and I think every single one of us has a little piece in our mind that's going, is this a work? Is this a work? Is this wrestling? Is this an elaborate work? That's what people go to that. This is not CM Punk leaving and Phil entering and being mad and destroying the locker room from the inside or whatever. This is an elaborate storyline.
Right.
For ratings.
Almost everything feels like a storyline anymore when it comes to this happened and insert wrestling here.
Right.
It's again, we've been so conditioned, and I'm not blaming this specific person. Please do not send me heat tweets, Glenn or Conan or whoever, but we've been so conditioned in the Russo era to believe everything we're seeing is bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. We're being smoked one way, smoke screen one way or the other. So we don't know how to filter. But from the other side of that, us being, doing what we do every single week, every single night, sometimes, the week, if you're on NoDQ or on this channel for a while, the burden of knowledge is a mucker fudder. It's the worst. And, again, Jess, you have friends in the AW locker room. And I know I have friends that have, I've been friends with for 20 years or more that work for that company. And you hear stuff and it's like, I don't want to know that, but okay, cool. And then, when we come on here, it's just like, oh, the company's and again, part of what Punk said was not wrong. You've got guys that were running, even though it got as big as it has become and is still going, strong-ish.
I think
guys are running a glorified indie company for the last 20 years.
Let's be real. The Young Bucks could totally manage a Target.
They could. I've seen it. I know they can. And considering, where they originate.
That's the one thing I had concern with that. I was like, they could totally run a Target. What are you talking about?
They can run anything. You kidding me?
Seriously,
you put Young Bucks on something and boom, it's an instant seller.
There were two things there were two things that Punk said that didn't make me completely violently ill. The one was flat out mentioning that a lot of this is they're trying to run AEW like PWG. And JJ and I can speak from experience. Not the way to go. At all.
Oh, no. He said that? I didn't see that part.
Well, Punk mentioned the Bucks without saying their names, and also mentioned the city of Reseda, which is where PWG ran for years.
Yeah.
So that was what that comment meant, by the way.
Okay.
The other thing was him shitting on the Pittsburgh Penguins. I am here for that all day.
Oh yeah, that okay was that. That was I popped for that.
Everybody from Pittsburgh is pissed.
Well, of course they are. Well, of course they are. But being a LA King season ticket holder all my life, it's like, yeah, you can shit on Cross. That's fine. Go ahead and sit the kid. That's okay. I like Sydney. I like the Penguins. I just thought it was funny that in all this craziness, he kept shitting on them, and so much so that when Jericho popped up there and he mentioned the guy too, I'm like, oh god, now Chris is gonna start on this poor dude.
So the domino effect waiting to happen.
He didn't though, because Chris recognizes that the league is awesome right now, so it's okay. He's been involved with hockey his whole life too because of his dad. But yeah, other than that, it was just a mess, and it was very disheartening to the point where I was very upset, and I had somebody mention to me in the car Wednesday night going down to Hollywood. My buddy Travis was like, nobody's talking about WWE's post conference, like, because nobody went out of line, did anything stupid.
As far as we know, or so reported.
Triple H went to that podium, said what he said. My dad's favorite phrase: state your name, state your business.
Yes.
Triple H went up there, shilled about the company, promoted the show the next night, talked about bringing Bad Bunny back in. Oh, whoops, I wasn't supposed to say anything, but he did. Just little things. So Vince-like. So good. Roman went up there and did Roman things. Said one thing and walked out. It's like, that's what you do.
Yep.
You get people to like, fine, not react like the media did in Chicago.
Yeah. New Japan as well.
New Japan honestly, I think has been, so and again, this goes back to Tony and AEW trying to take all the best things from everybody and do it on their own platform. New Japan's done press conferences for years, but if they ever get out of hand, it's because they're supposed to.
Right, they're very scripted.
Exactly.
Or they're at least bullet pointed.
Right. No. I don't mean the promos. I mean the actual layout of the conference itself, right? Like Hogan going out there in 2003 with the bloody face after having that match and Jarrett whacking the guitar. That was supposed to lead to where it was, and it didn't because Hogan went back and started.
Hogan pulled a Hogan. Terry pulled a Bullet.
Hogan pulled a Hogan, but also McMahon pulled a McMahon and threw more money at Hogan again. That's what happened there.
Yeah. And not the only time
the Hall of Fame back. But again, that was all meticulously, laid out. Whatever.
Here's the problem with the AEW press conferences, right? Is you have. When you look at something like New Japan, things get out of hand there because, these people are like probably, cutting, promos off the cuff quite a bit. And then, like you said, bullet points maybe.
Backstage.
They are still in character. When you have an AEW press conference, you have a mixture of people that are going to be their character or their actual selves. And so...
You don't know
when you have Keith Lee and Swerve come into the interview, kayfabe in character, and then you have people asking stupid questions that are very much not kayfabe to them. It makes no sense, and it's ridiculous. But then you have, I don't know, someone else, and they're talking about
Jericho came in and was a good mix of both. He was the only one that was a good mix of both.
Jericho constantly does that. He even does that on commentary. Yeah, he's this character, but he still also gives you that other side of him that talks about the actual talent to push forward AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, he mentioned quite a bit between commentary and when he was at the media scrum. Some of the matches. Somebody asked him if he ever was talked about doing a Fozzy concert post AEW. It's like, dude, go on the Jericho cruise every freaking night.
Yeah.
all 3 nights, man. He's out there with Fozzy and then he's out there wrestling. He didn't wrestle all 3 nights this last time, but he still does.
That's on my bucket list, by the way, one of these days.
Dude, Wait till 2024. I can probably go to that one. I can't go next year.
You and me both, Noah. You and me both.
Seriously, 2024, folks, make it happen.
Noted. Okay.
So,
Anyway,
I do have a couple of questions that were starred here. Elizabeth Delgado wants to know, based on all that has happened post All Out, do we think that Osprey Omega will still happen at Wrestle Kingdom in Tokyo?
Well, the fact that it's only one night, I would not rule it out, because that to me screams semi-main event. This match is up there to feel as big as my favorite Wrestle Kingdom of all time, Wrestle Kingdom 12, which, Jessi, it had Omega versus Alpha, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. I can definitely see that happening at WrestleMania 17 next year.
So, I remember reading that Kenny's contract is up in 4 months. Is that an accurate read? I got
have no
somebody.
idea.
What?
If it is, I'm hearing he's not going to turn down the next WWE offer. So that's
if he does that, I'm quitting.
Right. That's the only thing that'll prevent Wrestle Kingdom 17 versus Osprey is if he signs with WWE.
Well,
but he can also very easily say, hey, Hunter, can I sign in February?
Though, and I respect that.
Can I sign in February? Can I do this match? Because people have been talking about this match.
An individual is going to choose what they want to do with whatever company in the wrestling industry.
Because it's their life, not ours, and we have to
exactly
accept that. Sorry,
exactly.
No,
you're fine.
The only thing I want to mention when it comes to Kenny and all the whole press conference as a whole, we mentioned a lot about Phil and what he did wrong, but I don't think. There's a lot that the Elite also screwed up on too. And I'm not talking about leading up to what happened. I'm talking about what happened after the damn press conference.
Yes.
There's a couple reasons I say that. Because what we know is one of two options as of right now, unless something new completely just comes out of nowhere from Max, who was apparently a witness to this whole thing. Number one, they walked in, and it was still 5 guys, and Punk felt threatened that there was even 5 guys recording him, probably for their BTE show, and he got offended that they even recorded him without his permission in his own locker room, and that's why the fight happened. Or B, they busted into his locker room and all hell broke loose. I want to think it's the freaking former, but either one is just as bad. You're not one of the boys anymore. You are an EVP. You're supposed to act diplomatically when it comes to situations like that. Not go in there and try to film it for your freaking BTE show. That's like the complete wrong move, which allegedly is what happened.
Okay, so, yeah. Make sure you throw that word in there because we don't know.
Allegedly, that's what happened. Yeah. Both are alleged.
Right.
And I will also say this because I did one of the things I did make a point about referencing on my little brief thing I did Thursday was. The argument allegedly from Ace Steel was that he was, protecting his wife. So you protect your wife by throwing a chair across the room. That screams no.
Yeah, that screams sus. Is what
that's very suspect.
Playing Among Us.
And then again, the other thing we hear is that the Elite did go in there, looking to, calm it down. And apparently Kenny was the one that got Larry out of there, which thank God for that. But again, but again, she was allegedly there.
Yeah,
Josh, to comment.
Question.
Here's the thing, and I think, listening to everyone talk about this, and this is kind of like how I feel about backstage drama as a whole.
Right.
I am a stupid mark that doesn't know shit. MJF was right, okay?
Yes. Thank you for saying that out loud.
Listen,
that's tremendous.
Honestly, I'm not saying I'm like an AEW insider or anything, but even just going to the AEW heels get-togethers and meeting the female wrestlers there,
right.
You learn to like the people behind the character, and you learn that, kind of talking about all this stuff. I really have no idea what goes on backstage,
No.
And I wish more people could understand that, these are just like rumors. And like while we're sitting here like discussing the rumors and saying if it was this way, if it was that way, then here's what needs to happen. There are people who are like, oh, no way, that happened and this happened. It's like tabloids, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's all rumor because at the end of the day, none of us were there.
But we like to think that
Exactly.
we know or were there in a situation because how it is exposed in media.
Right.
Exactly. And you want to feel like, you know, just because you may know somebody who works with the company or is backstage, how do you know they're not fabing you too?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Again, what is real? What is a work?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those deals. I've tried very hard, and if I've ever strayed from this, Lord, I own it now, here and now, at whatever the hell time it is right now. You know, at quarter to 9 at night on a Saturday, I own it now. I have tried very hard to not propagate it out there until I hear from the people who were actually there, or, you know, there's some sort of pretty, you know, cut and dry press release about something. So until we hear Kenny Omega or the Bucks or whoever else was allegedly in that room that got suspended, or Tony flat out say so-and-so and so-and-so, I'm just going to watch Wednesday nights, and if I'm home on Friday nights, and enjoy the wrestling and try very hard to take the Noah Foster approach, because Lord knows he is the calmest dude in the room when we talk about this crap on the regular. So I've lost enough hair as it is in my life over stress. Nothing to do with wrestling, thank God. So
I have this book right here, and you know, Twitter, I think, you know, it induces that visceral anger, outrage reaction kind of right away. And here's the problem. That is the danger of anger. It instills a feeling of self-justification and righteousness that can override our better judgment.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Once that trigger's pulled, once that button is pushed, it's very fight or flight is definitely a key thing.
Want to fight.
Exactly.
It is so much easier to get angry than to remain calm. It is. Trust me. Going with being in therapy and having this issue my entire adult life.
Bring out the knives. Bring out the pitchforks. Like I told you all. The only.
Let's not bring out any weapons, shall we?
Yeah. But it just feels like metaphorically. That's
metaphorically speaking.
Stigma that people go to when they see this stuff. It's like. Grr! It's one thing to react to someone like, you, Jezebel, did this to this man in the ring. It's another thing, though, to, you know, propagate this individual in a much more crueler manner where you almost sound like you're threatening their well-being.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep in mind, it took man to create the Frankenstein monster. But once man couldn't control it, out came the torches. Out came the pitchforks.
Right. Jessi, it's like I told these gentlemen, and I'll tell you, I have only been part of this so-called internet wrestling community as self-named since 2018, discovering NoDQ when I decided to leave my introverted lifestyle to go out and be a wrestling fan at NXT. Black and Gold, not my NXT. That was for you. That was for you, JJ.
I know it was, Noah.
That being said,
of course it was.
Jessi, now you know me. That being said, since then, I've connected with people at NoDQ. I've connected with people who we formed ATW. I've liked, I've basically reacted to simple, fun, humor, and engagement with people like you. I have no notifications on. I do not engage in Eric, my friend, inquiring tweets, where it does bring, at times, a very diplomatic discussion, but then it leads to almost a virtual confrontation. I'm like, unbelievable. The only time I engage anything news-wise is 3 platforms. Podcast, review, Jeff Meacham Network 2. That's it.
Yeah.
The only time I actually see news on Twitter is when I open the feed and I'm like, oh, that's a thing? Or somebody tells me. I don't scroll, I don't follow, and I don't feed the machine. I just simply try as a fan to enjoy wrestling.
Damn it.
Damn it.
By the way, I can confirm that this is exactly what Noah does. I'm a witness to this. Have me on the record. I wish I could be more like him because, like, this week with wrestling, I think Jeff mentioned this in passing. Especially with when your article came out, it really put things into freaking perspective for me. It's like, okay, I got like this is basically how I had to do it because originally I said it in an angry way because this shouldn't have gotten this out of hand as it did backstage.
But you were reacting on instinct and on impulse, right. And again, to allude to what Jesse's talking about, human psychology, the human mind of interpretation. That was your initial thought. And you can't hold yourself against that. What's important, James, is you're realizing, though, what you did, and you're trying to, move on from that so it doesn't happen again. Bottom line, you are trying to continue to enjoy what you love without social media destroying it.
And that's the thing.
You're trying to do what Noah says every week when he signs us off. Protect your mentality.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I need
and you can't do it 100%, but you try your best every day.
And I can't help anybody, and I realize this because I've done so many rants that at nauseum, like, whether they're good, bad, and different, rants or rants, even if I'm diplomatic about it. It got to the point when I read that article and then everything happened that I was in Vermont, and it was funny because Jeff had a similar thing on the freaking Jericho cruise. This is basically what happened to me. I heard about the news and I'm just like, why do I give a damn about any of this? Like, I got beautiful mountains in front of me. The view is amazing. I'm in a freaking lake one day. I'm doing mini golf.
You're outside.
I'm outside.
Fresh air, dude.
Holy Christ almighty on a cracker.
Nature is real. It's not fighting between four sides of steel cables.
Right. And so it's like, I needed to, after that happened, I was like...
That's accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate. There was a couple things that kind of made me realize a lot of things. I'm like, number one, before I can even help this community, I got to help myself. Number two, I come back and
you deserve it.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you need to when you can.
And number two is like, when I do come back, I want to take a different approach than how I've been doing it because I feel like what I've been doing has not worked. And I feel like, and this is just for me, it's hurt my own personal life to a degree, because when you hold all that anger for the thing that you're supposed to love, right? And you have all this other outside stressors, right?
Right.
That's not great. That's not great for anyone.
I can't pay this bill. My little nephew can't get through school. My mom's doing this. Lord help me. There is more critical things in life to worry about than what you read in a freaking virtual publications you think is real.
That said, I'd appreciate if my professional wrestling stuck to fiction and not do this work shoot crap. Leave Russo
out. I'm like, I'm already stressed out enough. Come on.
That's the thing.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said
that's
it too.
The way they've shaped it. It's never going to go back to that.
Yeah, no. Gotta draw money.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Clickbait.
I don't know.
Baby.
MJF and Phil Brooks. I don't know. CM Punk and MJF. I was just saying, their whole thing was based on fiction with some hints of reality, sure. But there was basically mostly fiction, and that drew a big house. I was just saying, that was all fiction.
I loved that, people were, first of all, thank you for bringing up the Jericho Cruise, because, I'll never forget when I read the drama. It was funny. I don't think we were even on the ship yet. Or we were either not on the ship yet, or we were yet to see.
It was Charlotte. It was Charlotte.
It was the whole Becky Charlotte thing on SmackDown where they got in a little lover's quarrel backstage.
Oh, that's where they fought backstage, right?
Oh. Yeah, and
I forgot about that.
Jessi, hand to God, I'm literally on the freaking deck on the balcony of my cabin, and my dad actually saw it. I just like,
don't brag, you dick.
Why? I look out, my freaking backyard's the Atlantic Ocean. Why am I mad at this? What the freaking? Put the phone down.
That was me. I'm like, my backyard's the freaking mountains. Why am I complaining here?
Turn off your notifications.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have
and
notifications
again,
on. My
Noah,
notifications
to my
were on, it would not stop. I have like my weather notifications on.
right.
Let's see. Weather, email.
I do have police scanner notifications though, so like anytime there's like a big incident.
with all the freaking threats you've gotten on that
I
shithole site, I don't blame you one bit.
That's
I don't
different,
blame
Jessi.
you
I
one
believe
bit.
that you need that. I respect that.
That is
Yeah,
a
I do.
necessity, not a need.
And I have
not a want.
an app that I can put in anybody's license plate and find out who the owner is.
Hey,
that's a little frightening. That's a little frightening.
It's kind of
the fact that
drive by your house.
I mean, to be fair, anybody could download that app, so it's like it's not like she's like.
I will say this in my minor defense about the work notification being on. I was on a wrestling cruise, so that any other vacation, I'm like, yeah, no, that's.
I
that's
think
not
the bigger point was that
I know.
at those moments you were so immersed in what was happening in your real life. So even though it was a wrestling cruise, and while you were in Vermont, you were actually like embracing something other than technology. Like that was not your priority.
Right.
Because it's when you're on like something like that, or you're so like not disconnected, but when you're so in tune with nature, I want to say, or in tune with your physical environment around you. That is when I feel like you can kind of go, you know what? I need to not like obsess in this world too much, because like for me, this summer, it was really hard because I wasn't, walking my daughter to school and back every day, and I wasn't interacting with all the other moms, and I wasn't talking to them about what was going on. I wasn't like having as much human interaction as I was used to. I wasn't going to brunches with the moms, and I wasn't, doing the play dates or whatever. You know, it's just a lot of stuff. And so, and it was too hot because I don't have a colon, so I can't, absorb water very well. So I can't go outside because it's 1,000 degrees in Florida and it's humid and I sweat. So I'm stuck inside.
Oh, it's so bad out here. Oh.
And you get immersed in this like world, and then you're like, oh fuck, and then it just becomes your everything. And then you But here's the thing, with this tribalism, it's a very instinctual thing.
Exactly.
Thank God for football season.
Yes.
Which should help distract.
Channel your tribalism elsewhere.
The Green Bay Packers beat my team to hell with that. Yeah,
put the tribalism into pro sports. Leave it out of pro wrestling.
Right.
I want to also bring up a point that I don't know if, and this is something to keep in mind for all the people that are in the locker room, if they somehow listen to this, which I imagine maybe some actually will now. I want you to keep this in mind that, wrestling is not the only place where this can happen, where people have just had enough and want to get away because of nonsensical drama that didn't need to happen. I'll give you a great example for an actual sport that actually has punching for real. Anybody
that happened in UFC, yeah.
Anybody remember the freaking fight that happened? The
bus
fighting
where they
card
threw
that
the
happened
chair?
between Khabib and Conor McGregor?
Where he threw a chair in a bus or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and well, I mean, there was a lot more than that as well, but it's like
there was like charges pressed, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was already so much buzz, whether it was positive or negative, but it did a huge pay-per-view buy because of the interest of the fight, right? What then proceeded to happen was the best fight card UFC MMA has ever seen. And it's the one that nobody will ever talk about. You want to know why? There's a couple of reasons, really. Number one, Derek Lewis with Joe Rogan talking about how his balls is hot. And the other one was freaking Conor McGregor's camp. And that's a legit thing. And the other one is Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov's camp going at each other like a bunch of wild animals after the fight was officially over. And making what Dana White straight up condemned and called a mockery of the sport.
Oh.
In a very similar situation to what the hell has happened with pro wrestling with the Bucks and Kenny.
Allegedly.
And Punk. Like that, You know, if that can happen there, like, don't be surprised if that can happen to wrestling, because it will. And especially now after a pandemic has happened and so much political unrest and all these other things going on in life, whatever personal beef everybody's going through, I want every wrestler to keep in mind, nobody wants their outside drama in something that, especially by nature, should be story driven. Nobody wants that in their entertainment, especially with all this unrest going on right now.
Speaking of the unrest going on right now, Psycho Jet White had a question where he says that he sees AEW either folding or going way down in growth and overall presence in the next 1 to 2 years based off of what's happened this last week if it keeps going down the path that it's on. What do you guys think about that?
It's funny you say that, because Psycho Jet White also left a comment on my channel also saying the same thing. So I guess he definitely wanted
to be acknowledged.
He got timed out because he was trolling, because it's the Psycho Jet Black from the other channel, and I blocked him on my channel already, so he decided to sign up with a different account. So he was trolling, so he got dismissed. However, I did like the question. I forgot to start myself because I can't start where I'm at now. It's funny that number was mentioned, because Travis and I were talking in the car on the way down, and Travis is my buddy Travis, not Greg's buddy Travis, is so out of the hardcore fan loop these days. He mentioned 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Again,
based on what's gone down in the last year, and again, can't put everything on CM Punk. It's not just him. However, the cracks in the armor have definitely showed a lot more in the last 13 months. I can't even argue that.
And then, like Josh says, the fact that Cody's in WWE, Omega wants to sign, and the Bucks have sent out feelers tells you what a 5-alarm fire Tony Khan is in.
But to counter that, yes, Cody is there. I can't argue that. We saw him in WrestleMania. He tore his pec. We saw that. He's actually there. We've heard that Omega will sign a contract. We've been told that the Bucks sent out feelers. Did Matt and Nick say that?
No. Okay. Not at all.
And again,
Here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and worry about stuff that A, I don't even know has happened, or B, don't know that's going to happen. What I can do is, say, yeah, that whole thing sucks, but let's hope they learn and grow from it. Whatever happened. Like, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not forward. Like, that, and that's the thing. Like, and and it's that whole anger and that fear, that fight or flight response. It's literally fight or flight. You want to fight. That's like your human instinct, And I'm not even saying this about like the companies as a whole. And to answer the question, I don't know, because I can't tell the future. But that opinion is your opinion, and you are more than allowed to have it. I will not sit here and degrade you for concluding that based on things that have happened and your perception of them. I won't.
There's the word, perception. Everything that is being said here tonight is based on our perception of a what if or a response to a question. Nothing is literally...
Oh, guys, it's midnight on 9/11. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to shut up because I think it's only fitting right now because...
Well...
We had a 10 bell salute
for sure.
You got that 10 bell
salute. Sorry, I just had to give
Jeff?
like a moment of silence, and
No, you're good. You're good.
I wish we had a 10 bell salute. To be fair,
it's jeez.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it, Jeff. Don't worry about it.
No.
You have to remember, I'm the one running things. I'm the one running the production table now.
That is true. By the way, Psycho Jet White in the comments, the minute we say that USA, we talk about perception for a minute. There's a couple of perceptions I want to read off from my comment section because I'm streaming this via my OBS. My dad, who's actually watching this with us, commented. He called there was a couple things just for joking purposes, just to lighten the mood a little bit. Love what Punk said. He didn't mind what Punk said. He's kind of old fashioned that way, but he also said the young clerks. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But he also said, in relation to our comment, Jeff, about the ship and my trip to Vermont, you can't be grateful and miserable at the same time.
Oh, I love that.
Love that one.
Is profound. Yeah, it's funny. So the news broke about that little tiff Charlotte and Becky had, whatever. That was the first night we were fully out to sea because it was we were on the ship because it was SmackDown Friday. It was SmackDown Friday. So so we were out on the water. I put the phone down for a few minutes to go change into proper attire of where I was going. Went out to watch the wrestling card, and then I went to the Paradise Kitty concert in the first night in the atrium, and that was the night that Jericho went on stage with them and sang "Sweet Child of Mine" with the girls.
That's so
where I had my girls are on stage, and the entire locker room sold out this place. Like, if lightning hits the boat, I'm good moment. Like, this is hours after I got a momentary of, why am I mad? Like, it's just weird how the universe works itself out sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bizarre as hell.
Again, like I said, I watch wrestling. I could be tired, pissed. I could be in a whole different state of mind. But as soon as I see that thing on my screen, I'm better. This is my happiness. This is what I've enjoyed since 1992. First seeing the British Bulldog and Bret the Hitman Hart. This is what I've lived, eat, slept, and breathed by in my worst of times. When I nearly lost my family, my house at one point. Wrestling has always been there for me, despite its controversy. And the controversy's been there since as long as I've been alive.
Right. And I think that is such an important point to make. And I feel like, and I kind of go into this in the conclusion, is we have to remember, and Dave LaGreca talks about this all the time. Yep. We're all on the same team. We are not a majority anymore. We're a minority. You tell somebody like Joe Schmo out there, like in line at the grocery store waiting to check out that you're a pro wrestling fan, you're probably going to get a
reach,
right?
Reach.
Really?
I feel like I'm the only pro wrestling fan in Toledo besides my brother from church.
Right, exactly. It's
that's another thing because another person we haven't even touched on that it's funny you bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people is one of us that's running AEW, Tony Khan. My dad even said, like, I think the owner learned his lesson about communicating better. That's a thing we also have to mention. Like,
communication is key, and it doesn't matter what business. It doesn't matter what approach. We are all flawed in it and constantly need to work at being better at it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I took away from Wednesday's Dynamite, and we'll try to reel it back in here a little bit. After the announcements went down about Vince's indiscretions, shall we say, allegedly, he was out on TV every week putting himself out there just because he could, in front of the crowd, puffing that big Vince chest out. But Tony left the first live show after he done let that happen. He was on camera, but he didn't go out in front of the crowd. And he got himself cleaned up from how he looked Sunday. That shows me that Tony learned and Tony grew from that god-awful, horrendous experience of Sunday night.
Right. And
that's what gives me hope, Jess, more than anything else about the future of the company. The fact that Tony immediately realized, I done fucked up here.
And here's the thing, and this goes for those professional wrestlers that were in that room. In the locker room, the journalists that were at the scrum, the people that work for AW, the people watching there at the show, and the people watching at home. We are all invested in this no matter at what capacity because wrestling does something for us. It makes us feel. And typically, since we've stuck around for so long, usually that means it makes us feel pretty good. Yeah. We can all connect on the point that professional wrestling brings us joy. We can differentiate and agree to disagree on what aspects and what companies make us happy, but at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling and we all love it. We're here because we care, and we're losing sight of that. We're losing sight of the fact that we can agree to disagree, that it is subjective. That makes it beautiful. Because everyone has a different opinion. If everyone had the same opinion, things wouldn't be exciting. There would be no need for AEW. It could just be WWE all the time because it would just satisfy every single need.
Right, exactly. The fact that it is so universally connected, but so defined differently across the entire landscape, the entire world, makes wrestling special. John Moxley said, selling his book, wrestling gives you a little bit of literally everything, and it literally can connect to anyone on anything. It is the most universal platform of entertainment. Even if you don't watch the product, you know somehow what you are watching or can interpret is somehow connected back to wrestling.
Yep.
Right.
Sorry, I missed all of that. My Wi-Fi just decided to crap the hell out. I have I don't know what happened. I tried to salvage
Well, basically, what happened was I just kind of said that
Preach the gospel of wrestling. That's what you did.
Yeah, like no matter what form, like what part you play in professional wrestling, whether that be a boss, a professional wrestler, or a fan, we are all here because we love it, and it does something for us, and it makes us feel. And I feel like it's okay to, like, if we could all just agree to disagree every once in a while, oh my God, things would be so much better.
Exactly. That's why literally I only go on Twitter and be like, hello, good morning. Or I turn into a commentary and be like, this happened, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, to address your comment, and I'll go ahead, if JJ wants to put it up, that's fine. Yes, Tony got booed. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen, right? That was fait accompli. But the fact that he hasn't learned. Okay. There has not been one tweet out of his account since he tweeted about the tag team championship match with the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory that has not been promotional or commenting on what was going on TV in the moment. So, yes, Tony has learned. He's not just at everything like a lot of us do, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think Tony has learned. And I think that hopefully that will continue. Now, again, I said at the top when I started my 6-hour rant earlier, immediate crowning of New Trios champions, didn't even bat an eye about taking the Bucks and going, yep, nope, you guys need to sit on timeout for a second, and Kenny, and said they were going to crown a new world champion. Everybody that allegedly screwed up Sunday night either lost their championships or lost their position of power, even temporarily, for suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That shows me that, yes, he allowed shit to get sideways Sunday night.
But he did not pick sides.
He didn't pick sides, number one, and number two, he also realized how shit got sideways in a quick enough fashion where he went, okay, I need to fix this.
Like, seriously, as much as I love me some Kenny Omega, and as much as I love the Young Bucks, like, and trust me, I love Kenny Omega. Like, y'all don't even
We know you do.
Oh, yeah.
I got a person that might challenge you, Jessi. Hello, Alicia.
Right.
But I think it made sense because I feel like if they would have only, well, for one, I was like, well, they have to suspend people because they just suspended Eddie Kingston and he threw a punch. So it's like, if you don't suspend anybody, then what the fuck does that mean for Eddie Kingston?
It makes you have the inmates run the asylum.
And here's the thing. It makes sense. You don't want people that were just allegedly, no matter what, involved in an altercation, meeting back up again. That is like the worst thing you could do. And it makes sense for them to be apart while there's an independent investigation going on.
The best thing for everybody involved was to go back to their houses, be it out here in Rancho Cucamonga or Kenny in North Carolina, where the hell he lives now, any of those places.
Go pet his cats. Go pet his cats. Pet my cat, please.
Exactly. And just sit down and just breathe for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And like you encouraged, like James and I talked about, get away from this shit for a couple weeks and just detox.
Exactly.
Right.
Seriously.
You need it because I know I need it.
You need to realize your breaking point before you actually hit it.
Yes, you have to be self-aware and you have to be willing to self-accept.
Yep.
There are like, for me, it's just, I don't know. It gets easier. It gets easier to like just I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like after I turned 30, I just kind of like stopped caring. I don't know what it is about turning 30, but I was just kind of like, you know what?
I'm almost to that point. I'm almost to that
Jessi.
point. 27.
Yeah.
Fist bump to that. I'm 30 years old too.
Yeah, I'm 33.
Babies.
About
I'm
they're
33.
27 on the 29th.
I turned
Nice.
46 last month. Y'all have.
But seriously, like, I don't know. But, and here's the thing, taking a break is so healthy and it's so good for you and everybody needs it. You need to recharge your own batteries, you know?
Yeah,
You have to do that. But one of the things that a lot of people have said to me after, you know, I kind of came out with this whole kind of essay thing, they were like, well, just log off. Okay, just log off.
It's
If
not
you
that
can't
easy
handle it-
for you.
No, it's not.
I would love.
If
In
you
fact, let her have the floor. I want her to explain why for people who don't understand.
Right. All right. Here's the thing. As much as I love to take breaks, and I often do, that doesn't stop people from still screenshotting my tweets and threatening me and trying to campaign to get my kids taken away from me because I have a medical marijuana card. It doesn't make people stop actively trying to take down a GoFundMe. It didn't stop somebody who is in a state mental health facility for being found legally not competent to stand trial for arson, find my phone number, find my address, and send me letters claiming that my child was his because the government said so.
Yeah.
That didn't stop him from doing that, no matter how much of a break I took. I am still at risk. And and you know what sucks is if I'm off social media, then I can't see the threat happening. I have to be aware. As much as I love taking breaks, me taking a break does not stop people from talking shit. Like, me taking a break will not stop that. You know?
Of course
Just
not.
like when CM Punk was out, people were still talking shit. When MJF was out, people were still talking shit. Just because they go away doesn't mean the talk does. So yes, while I can take a break from it, I still have in the back of my mind that there was a literal crazed guy who 3 days before I gave birth to my second child, I had to go to court and testify and say what this guy did and have him cross-examine me on the phone from a mental institution.
That's crazy.
It was awful.
That's awful. It is awful.
And it was scary to keep getting letters. And I was like, how the fuck did you find my address?
Right.
Oh, you can look it up. I'm like, you're in a state mental health facility. That's besides the point.
Right.
You know, that people need to understand where I'm coming from on that. Like, and everybody else. Like, I'm sure anyone else who's been on Twitter and takes a break goes, oh gosh, I hope they're not talking about me, or I hope they're not saying things about me behind my back, because you know, as soon as you log in, you're gonna be into the shitstorm, and that's not cool. That's not cool.
And the sad part is like you mentioned that, and what happens with that's just with wrestling fans. You want to know what the hell happens with actual wrestlers? Go check out my 2-part series.
Right.
On this subject, because
look what happened to Sonya Deville.
We cover Danielson and what happened to Bryan Danielson.
Right.
Danielson, this is I think months prior to his AEW debut. I think it might have been a month out, and there were rumors and speculation by this point that he was even going to be there. Right. Man, did the Tribalists come out with pitchforks, everything, man, and very, very disturbing comments. Like, one of the comments that will forever stick in my mind, and strictly because of how horrible it was, and how my friend, who was barely in any of this shit, reacted, was, hope you break your neck again so another wrestling company doesn't care, which was like the most absurd, awful thing I've ever heard anybody say to a professional wrestler. Like,
human being, for that matter.
Like, essentially to their face, whether it's on social media or not. Like, it felt like a personal attack at that point.
It's stuff like that just gets me. Again, we're not mentioning names, Jess, and I appreciate not mentioning names. That poor excuse for a person that is just all over our buddy Cher's back all week this week, and you've even come to a defense with this yahoo on Twitter. It's just like, why are these people allowed access to a computer? Why are they allowed out of their whatever home they should be in without the straitjacket hugging them back? Like, it's ridiculous that people like that are allowed to continue to be harassing, and there's just no accountability.
And it could literally be over Jessi being a fan of AEW, or it could be something as like Danielson, and I'm not even making this up. The comments that we pulled that comment from, and a lot of other disturbing comments from, all on a picture of him with his fucking daughter celebrating Earth Day, planting a goddamn tree.
Seriously,
nothing to do with pro wrestling, nothing to do with tribalism, none of this.
Here's I want to read you. Can I read you all an example of something that kind of has something along the lines to do with this? And this is about holding people accountable. Okay, it's not long, I promise.
Are you good?
But it's in this book. It's in the beginning of this book called Warning Signs. And
Yeah.
this is a true story. Okay. A white woman in New Jersey woke up to a threatening racist message on her Facebook page attacking her for having biracial children. Assuming the stranger who posted the message lived locally, she called her town's police department. She was told that they would file a report, but she wasn't satisfied with that response. Her friends did some sleuthing and learned that the man lived in Kentucky, 700 miles away. At this point, the woman could have let the matter go, just like those strange comments that he got on that picture of him with his daughter planting a tree for Earth Day. She could have assumed that a man she doesn't know who lives far away posed no threat. She might have decided that she had fulfilled her duty by informing the police. She was so disturbed by the man's posts, however, that she called the local police where the man resided in Kentucky, who directed her to the Kentucky State Police. Yep. The state police checked their database and saw that this man had been investigated by the FBI a few months previously for allegedly threatening to commit a school in Tennessee.
Oh,
yep.
Lord.
The next day, the FBI and state police converged on the man's home just as he was pulling out of his driveway with an AR-15, 200 rounds of ammunition, body armor, and plans to commit the worst school in modern history. He was arrested and now is serving 10 years, all because a woman persisted in making sure that someone took her concerns seriously.
Yep.
It starts with one.
And
it only takes one.
And I bring that up because, like, I'm not even kidding when I say this, and this is what a lot of wrestlers need to understand. You need to take wrestlers' advice that stay off social media and wrestling fans that stay off social media seriously or have notifications off, because it doesn't help being on that all the damn time.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you this right now, I have no friends of mine that have been hardcore wrestling fans. I've known friends of mine who have been casual. Both agree with the sentiment that they want, because of all this online beef and online drama and all this tribalism and all this crap that goes on in this community, to the point where it's just downright unhealthy, to the point where you're leaving comments like on a wholesome photo like freaking tree planting. You know, people have literally left. My friend John left. Mike, both the Mikes left. Want nothing a part of it again, really, on a full-time freaking basis. And it's doing more harm than good, which is why it infuriates me that Triple H. Yeah, exactly. Which is why it infuriates me that Paul Levesque said what he said. And I understand that. I understand that they came at him first. I understand all that. And keep in mind, the person who really started firing the first shot is in the same very same company. But that's neither here nor there. You know, he's there and talking about how, AEW beat our developmental brand. Good for them, acting petty himself. Mm-hmm. You're just adding fuel to the fire, dude. Like, this isn't 1998 anymore. This isn't freaking even 1985. 2022.
People have access to way more information, and they have it at a rapid rate. We are constantly being fed information 24/7.
Yeah.
We're back. Everyone's like, oh, well, back in the Attitude Era, it was just as bad online. Yeah,
No,
but back in the Attitude Era, you had to log off the internet so that your mom could make a phone call to her sister. Like, you had to disconnect from the internet. The internet was not a 24/7 thing. You weren't engulfed in it. You could send a letter, you could read a magazine, but it basically went to that. Now you can get involved 24/7, immerse yourself into all sorts of communities. And they can be extremely harmful and they can be extremely radicalizing. And it's dangerous because it continues to feed these people in their own echo chamber, because they don't have to go outside anymore. They don't have to be involved in anything. You can work remote from home. You can, have your groceries delivered. You can have all your food delivered. You don't have to leave your house.
Yeah.
You don't. And you can just sit and consume all day.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem. Back in the Attitude Era, can you imagine if social media was what it was back then?
I said this for days on end.
James, how many times you said this?
Months on end. I've been saying that since I've been blue in the face, and I've already turned blue 5 times. I've said that so many times on this show, on my shows, every freaking time I could. If you had Twitter in the Attitude Era, oh man, one of two things are going to happen. It's just the same, or if not worse.
It probably would collapse from within because, again, that back then it was a different time, but you still wonder how much people might have really been, as you alluded to, Jessi, just turned by that type of source and that type of volatile nature back then, especially what they were showing on both platforms, which only further enhanced probably that behavior with the freedom of a keyboard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry, Elizabeth, that happened.
Yeah, seriously, Liz, I'm very sorry. I really, for the record, if this is triggering anybody, we do apologize. Like, that's not what the intention of this was, obviously.
No, not the intention at all. And I am also.
This is real talk, and I'm not trying to put a keys in.
Yeah. I mean, you're not alone. Your feelings are valid, and I'm sorry, let's bring that up. And I think there are still people like that. And here's the thing. And I was kind of talking about this off stream, and the guys will know. Our perception, I think our problem is our perception of what an evil person looks like. It has an almost clownish, cartoonish kind of image. Here's the thing. These people online that are trolls, they could be your neighbor. They could be a successful businessman in a company. They could be a former journalist for a very large newspaper. Yeah. They could be married with a kid and have a family, and you think they're dwelling in their mom's basement. They could be, these people harassing you could be mental health counselors.
And they have been. Monsters
are among us. Horrible people are among us. That's why we have to be the ones to be alert. We are the ones that have to call this shit out when it happens, and this is the reason why people need to be held accountable for serious stuff they say.
Yep.
Takes more than a block and report button, too.
It takes way more than that. Oh, by the way, just to lighten the mood up a little bit, you saw the monsters in Electrical too?
Yeah.
You saw them too? It's crazy. Yeah. I heard there was a party going down there. It's like Monsters Inc. down in that bitch.
All right. This is not brought to you by Pixar, but okay.
No. Oh, well, actually, technically, just Jeff.
Doc got it.
I mean, we need something to lighten the mood just a little bit.
I get it. It's all good. I was always a Mike Wazowski fan, so I mean.
I will say this to lighten the mood. CM Punk, if you're watching this, Phil, you introduced yourself to me as Phil, so I'm going to call you Phil because we shook hands and you said, "Hi, I'm Phil," and I went, "Hi, Phil." So I was so nervous. My man, you are straight edge. Do not get me wrong. I respect it. I appreciate it. I don't drink either. And I don't do recreational drugs. I do prescribed drugs. But Phil, Mr. Philip Brooks, please, for the love of God, ask your doctor about medical marijuana. I feel like that could help him so much, dude. Please smoke a fucking joint. Please chill the fuck out. You would be so much less angry. I promise you, it is not drugs, it's medicine. My man Phil, please, for the love of God,
Do
you need something.
bro.
That's a
Jesus.
testament, by the way, to a person from experience.
Yes.
That's why I support that. Because
I will
can't
raise
speak
my
to that.
non-straight edge glass to that too. Absolutely. There you go.
Yes.
For the
I
record,
literally go to a doctor and I have a prescription.
Yeah, for the record, my dad, in my comments, now that I'm finally back online and I have my little, tizzy online for a second. Most people don't realize when they're being the bad guy. I don't believe anyone wakes up twisting their mustache, and therein lies that. I think that's another thing that needs to be put.
Well, James, basically, you're saying nobody's born evil. Something has to convey
basically
that
what we've been saying all
behavior.
through,
Whether it grows, evolves, or is influenced over time, that's a whole nother discussion.
Exactly.
Well, and I think a great example of that radicalism is, and I'm going to mention the incel community.
Yep.
I mean, you see the attacks of the incel communities, and they've killed over 20 people in these mass attacks because of these online databases that cater to their delusions and justify their feelings, their irrational feelings of anger towards women, and it desensitizes them to the horrible feelings that they're feeling. And they get into this microcosm of this world, and that's why it is so dangerous. The incel community is such a good example of a purely online community that started its existence as like a Reddit meme page called Forever Alone and spiraled into this we hate women and Stacy's and Chad's and Betas and Supreme Gentlemen's and all this bullshit. That's like, it literally started like that. That's just insane to me. And
that is insane to me, hearing that.
And here's another thing. You mentioned incel community and all these other radicalized groups. Like, if people think that, okay, well, like, especially to people that don't even realize this stuff does happen in the IWC, like, it does. It has already. We've seen enough over the last 2 years of this stuff happening.
And people have literally, like,
last 5 years
posted about it, talked about it, but not necessarily done anything about it.
Dude, in the last 5 years, we've seen Moxley get attacked twice in 2 separate freaking stints in 2 different companies.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen, Chris Jericho almost get attacked because of freaking ideas that I'm not even going to mention his name anymore, but, like, I'll just say Cornball freaking said,
Don't need to be
and it was just
know what you mean.
It was just a bunch of, just because of what people said, saying they, a lot of these people, some podcasters will go to that level of saying, and some people will be diplomatic and say, I want them gone, or I want them dead in some facet or in so many characters, however they decide to do it.
Right. But again, that's
and Jessi says that it only takes one, and there have been very close calls, even recently. Sonya Deville. How about Seth freaking Rollins? That's the biggest one. Instead of people rallying behind Seth Rollins, people were getting mad that Seth didn't fight back when legitimately, with all the fear that we have in this freaking world, he was in fear of his damn life.
But the guy broke into Sonya Deville's house and said he was going to decapitate her and had kidnapping stuff. I mean, that's pretty...
That's pretty extreme. Bad. That goes above and beyond the word radical, to say the least. And unfortunately, this type of virtual behavior has literally cost people lives.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
Hana Kimura.
That's why I bring up Seth, because he's seen his coworkers damn near, hurt by this. When people are like, I couldn't believe. Like, there's a lot of things you can dog freaking Seth on, and trust me, I have, plenty of people have, because he's kind of a dick sometimes himself on social media. But oh my Lord, does that not give you the damn right to go out there and try to assault him, and then for the freaking community to dogpile on him and say, oh, what a, basically in so many words, a pussy for wanting to be protected. It's freaking mind-boggling to me. How are you going to say that? This guy literally saw, you mentioned Sonya Deville, that happened in his locker room with his peers. That happened to one of his own. No shit, I'd be scared too if I was in his shoes.
Absolutely. You can't, then that's the thing. You have no idea what these people are bringing in. You have no idea what they're carrying on them. You don't know what their intentions are.
You don't. And people have fooled that freaking entranceway plenty of times.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy. Again, we talk about perception. There's the scope of that perception, and then there's the view of it from, POV versus the actual person itself. And the way you justify what, again, wrong is wrong. That's the bottom line. Wrong is wrong. People are trying to justify something that's wrong as right. It's some sort of radicalized way of idealism and philosophy that just adds once again to this bubbling toxicity that you said again has really boiled over more this summer season, it seems, than any other time I've seen in the little bit of time I've been involved in this Twitter community.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, y'all, we need to take a big step back and check in on our friends. Like, we all have.
Love you, brother.
I'm sure we all have friends that sometimes will go a little bit too far on Twitter, and I've had friends do that, and I've been like, "Hey, man, are you okay? Are you doing all right?" And sure enough, they're not. They're not okay. They're going through something.
Or they're trying to get away from this, and they're not sure how, and you fear that they might do something, irrational. I mean, again, you learn from experience. You grow from your mistakes. And Jessi, I'm sure you and I can both be a testament to we are no exception to why we're talking about this. We are at fault of doing this too. All of us are.
Oh my God, yes. Oh man, I am so guilty of it. I'll be the first to admit how wrong I've been.
I got a first class ticket.
Yes.
James, we know.
That's why you're so comfortable doing it. You're sitting in them cushy ass seats up front.
I am in a cushy seat.
But that's part of why you're on the show with us. We know.
That's right. That's right. So I have been asked by the people that run the house, that run the show, to start wrapping things up. So throw them under the bus. That's what I gotta do.
And the warden is freaking calling a timeout like the horn from Millionaire.
Right. It is what it is. That's it. We got to pay the bills too. So again, I can't even my articulation skills have dwindled a lot last year, and that's just from the head trauma. But I can't even possibly thank you enough, Jessi, for again putting the article out there and getting all of us, fired up about it. Whether we should have to be fired up about it is not the point. The point is that people need to be aware of how they are to who they are at all times. And it just seems like, especially Twitter, but the general social media platforms have allowed us all to and again, I saw a great quote from Tyson. Social media has made us all very comfortable with not being held accountable for our words by getting a punch in the face, or something that's damn right.
You want to go punch someone on that plane? That was sorry.
And Psycho, I appreciate the $2. Thank you. And at the moment, I'm not going to disagree with that, because the public perception of both companies has drastically shifted from the start of the summer to now. Because when we hit June, everybody was all down on the old man, and AEW was the greatest thing since sliced bread. At number 2, Brian Kendrick, we love you too, brother. Even though you're crazy too, we love you.
When I came aboard on the team here, and we did WrestleMania, and then did WrestleMania Backlash, and basically had to twist James's arm to cover and do commentary on that, and he felt like it was a chore to cover it.
Yep.
And then now you fast forward a few months, and both Noah and James, who are diehard AEW fans, could give less than a fuck about WWE, especially hashtag not Noah's NXT.
Not my NXT. That's
For them to now
different
be
day, Jessi.
tuning in on a regular basis, catching the product, enjoying the product, still enjoying AEW more, I think it's safe to say, but actually enjoying what WWE is putting out on a regular basis, that says everything you need to say about what the company has done just in those 5 months.
The fact that Noah willingly called 2 straight days of action and a less than half, because AEW did every freaking match in the universe on Sunday, but
right,
the fact that half of that match time was WWE produced, that speaks volumes. And the fact that James was along for most of it, that speaks volumes to me.
Yeah.
Again,
So,
I just try to enjoy wrestling. Social media will not have a grip on me when it comes to what brought me to love this in the first place.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say that's a really important point that I always try to make to people is like, I'll be live streaming on Twitch with a show and I'll be like, this is the best show ever. When Bryan Daniels, when that guy came out, when Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun. I was so excited. And
her little girl actually sang Brian's song on the Great Church Show. That melted my heart.
Child, but we do like that song around here, okay? I
Seriously,
just myself around my children.
She flat out, we were, I think it may have been Brent, I forget. Whoever spun the wheel when I was on Great Show last week, we landed on karaoke. He and I hadn't done karaoke in a year. And all of a sudden, somebody said Brian Danielson song, and the little one popped right in there and sang the verse. I was like, that is the cutest damn thing I've seen this side of wrestling in 2 years.
Yeah,
I was like,
a motivational song. We use it as a motivational song. I always try and tell her she was born for greatness, but I don't.
Exactly.
The dancing stays for the nighttime. Okay, that's the nighttime dancing. That's when the kids have gone to bed. I'd be popping my pussy to Born for Greatness.
All right.
But during the day,
hey, it's open mic night. Everything's
open mic night on the Jeff Meacham Network. That's
during
right.
the day, it's a motivational, uplifting song, but at the end of the day, I get down. You know what I mean? So I was having so much fun with that song. And then I go online retroactively, and I see all these people like taking a big old dump on it and just being like, "Oh, that was so lame." And you know what? I was like, I'm not gonna. Don't ever let other people rob you in retrospect from the joy that you felt in that moment.
Exactly.
Nobody can rob the joy that you feel while watching AEW or WWE. Nobody can rob you of that feeling. They can disagree with you.
Right.
But don't let these people poo-pooing on stuff that you like.
That's right.
Make you feel like your joy was not as valid. Your joy is so valid.
Yeah.
You know?
Every single person that went on there and criticized the guy singing Brian's song, out on the stage and it was crapping on him. Like, you know what? Jesse's daughter says poo-poo on you, dude, because that was the best thing ever.
That was freaking awesome.
Damn it. That a lot.
But guys, bottom line, you are your own fan. No one else interprets that for you.
Yes.
Period.
Exactly.
So, now that we've got all the information out there, and again, we thank you, Jess. I wanted to give you the opportunity first to go ahead and plug, in addition to the article, which is out there on your Twitter. It's linked in your Twitter. Is it still your pin post?
My pin post is still my GoFundMe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's
please go do that too. Do that too.
Please go and follow her and donate to the GoFundMe if you can.
Thank you, y'all. Yeah,
and wonderful as individual and wrestling fan.
As was reminded throughout the night, and again, Greg was all, well, Jessica gave me the question for the con. It's like, dude, you told me winter. That means I got between December and March, so screw you, Greg. The gauntlet that Greg defends the championship on the live stream, all the super chats, be it on, and we're gonna try to have it on Greg's channel. Well, Greg's channel for sure. We're gonna try to put it on my channel, and we're trying to get Aaron to have it be on NoDQ, which means there'll be super chats aplenty, and they will be directed toward that account.
That would be great.
That is the plan. Whenever I have this guy stop my training in the next 2 weeks, we'll definitely get those questions going. But it all starts Monday. God help me. But thank you. Is there anything else you want to throw out there to promote before we say goodnight?
Yes. For those that don't know, where can they find you?
Yes.
Oh, you can find me on the Twitter. Please don't try and find me on Instagram and Facebook. I had to lock that shit down. So
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah, I gotta protect my kids from freaking.
That's right.
But I guess my Twitter at Jessi the Buckeye, go Bucks, and then
That's
my
right,
Twitch,
go Bucks.
my Twitch is Jessi the Buckeye 1 because I forgot the password to the other one. So I had to make a
Which
new
is
one.
awesome. You know, that's it. Well, okay. So yeah, when we say go Bucks, we mean go Buckeyes, not go Buccaneers tomorrow. Go Cowboys.
Right. Tom Brady goes
Jessi, as a fellow Buckeye, I always say Ohio represents. So yeah, Buckeyes.
Yes, Ohio against the world, baby.
Hey, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I got a first class ticket to that one. I'm sorry.
No.
We gotta get
Hey,
you freaking idiot!
Hey, listen. You know what? It could have died that Tom Brady's the GOAT, and I just want to see him win
but I
one
hate
more.
the school that he went to. I hate it.
Hey, if you watched the Disney Plus unveilings the last couple days, even Santa Claus thinks Brady's better than Peyton Manning. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So when Santa says it, it must be true.
But, hey, well, okay.
Oh no,
he's a better singer. I'm not sure about better replacement Santa Claus, but definitely a better singer according
We're going
to.
down the rabbit hole, a whole different world. This is Alice in Wonderland. Either.
I got a show for the boss. Leave me alone.
Where do we go? Hey, I don't know, man. Mick Foley might be offended by that.
Y'all.
No. Trust me, Mick is my inspiration for all my Santa stuff. So I can't even hate on jolly old Saint Mick, ever.
I will tell you all this. When I was in the hospital, Mick Foley was Santa for my kids.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
yes,
that's awesome.
He is so
literally a gem. One of the kindest people I've ever met.
He is one of the few guys in my 32 years of fandom, almost 20. God, here goes my spine again. Jesus, of doing this, that I've never felt anything but this dude's being real with me. He's being straight with me, and it's like crazy nice. Like you almost like, are you for real, dude? Like seriously.
Too nice.
Awesome.
A lot of people call him too nice, but I'm not nice enough. Keep being nicer.
The thing is, guys, there is kindness out in this world, and you may wonder why it is, and to the lengths of why these people seem like it is, and it generally is, but you don't question it. You welcome it. You learn from it, and you damn sure try to share it.
Right.
Exactly.
Pay it forward.
Absolutely.
So,
good movie.
By the way, my dad loved the impromptu discussion of Mick Foley.
Very cool.
Yay.
I'm glad your dad's been able to watch this, and because I know he's dealing with a lot. They're doing a lot of crap back at home too. So, with that being said, with that trend, James, what are you promoting this week?
Well, with that said, you guys can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/user/JHebertside95. That's JHEBERTSIDE95. If you want to know what I've done, I've just about done everything under the sun, including Let's Plays,
boys crazy,
friggin' podcasting, wrestling shows, YouTube shows, music shows, and also theme edits. You may have heard the 5-figure Death Punch edit that has over 1 million views. Yeah, that's me. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, the one with it was the Jekyll and Hyde one. The one with like, the added lyrics.
Yes.
That's me.
You're brilliant.
And he has his own shirt on ProWrestlingTees/Jeff Meacham Network.
Indeed.
We're back in zero again.
Support Jeff Meacham Network by buying my shirt. Please buy me a shirt. Buy my shirt.
Shout out to 5-Finger Death Punch's new album too.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check that out. I love 5-Finger Death Punch. I'm so glad you're a fan
Walk
of 5-Finger Death Punch.
Walk Away is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Which one?
Walk Away.
Walk Away.
Ah, yeah, you're cultured. Yeah, that's the one.
Just walk away.
I love it. Walk away. Yeah, love that song.
Hey! No super chats for karaoke. Hold on to that.
I'm not even kidding. The original "Gone Away" by the Offspring. I hate it now.
Yeah.
Ever since I've heard from 5-Finger done it, because it's so good. So
Wrong
good.
Side of Heaven. That video makes me cry.
That's my theme song in my freaking CAW show.
Really?
Nice. Not even kidding. Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I stand alone. alone.
Yeah.
I'm no hero.
All right, before we get claimed, before we get claimed, we'll definitely get claimed singing that one, probably.
Yeah.
Listen.
Listen. You go check me out on YouTube. That's youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. Check out all the stuff over there. Also, check out me out on Twitter. That's youtube.com/user/jhebertside. Or, I'm sorry, twitter.com/jhebertside95. I already botched it already. It's not a wrestling show without a boss, people. Go check out other channels as well involved in the umbrella of FTW Productions, including Noah's, including Casey's, and including Owen's. Both of his channels. We're actually going to be starting stuff on both of them very soon. NASCAR Thunder Let's Plays are going to be coming back, and we have a plan to do another Button Mashers for Stable Wars. So that's coming up again as well. That's going to be a lot of fun for Smash Brothers mod. We're having a good time with that, and we got a whole new crew of people that want to join in on that one. So go check that out when you can on Casey's channel. And last but certainly not least, definitely go check out my buddy Kuzon, who is doing a bunch of different watch-alongs on his Twitch channel. I don't remember the exact URL, but you can find his Twitch in his Twitter URL at twitter.com/xfirelordkuzonx. Go check that out. I'll probably be on a lot of those because I need me some retro wrestling to detox from the bullshit. So there you go.
Go rewatch SummerSlam 2012 again, James.
Yes. Please get those views up because, man, we had to sit through some of the most craptastic Vince production ever. Go check that out, please. And also check out SummerSlam 2003, SummerSlam 2002, WWF SummerSlam 2000, and WWF SummerSlam 1992. Did a whole SummerSlam retro series. Noah was a part of it at some point. Kuzan was as well. JJ was. We had a good time. I think it came out great. Go check that out. And stay tuned for a Judgment Day 2007 review. That should be great. Bobby Lashley lost the ECW title that night. The less said about that, the better.
James,
No. He lost it at Backlash. The rematch was a Judgment Day.
Wow.
Either way, it's a horrible.
I graduated high school.
Black mark. Oh wow, I'm old again. Cool. Christ. Okay.
What, 2007?
2001, sweetheart.
Wow.
Oh wow. You were so what? That's not that far.
Well,
7, 6 years.
I'm trying to deflect from saying JJ's because he's even farther back than I am. Anyway. Anyway,
by the way, thanks,
direct, yeah. So
that's everything I got to plug. I'm done with my promotion.
Good luck, so James. Before we get into the ungodly amount of shilling that JJ and I have to do, because we do, it was pointed out. Midnight Hit.
One more. There's one thing.
Jesus Christ!
Sorry, I almost forgot. I wanted to read a quote to end this off before we end it officially because it's by my dad, and I think his quote perfectly sums up this podcast. Just wanted to make that clear. Everybody else can plug their stuff now. I just want to point that out there. Cool.
So before we go to the plugs for me and Jay, it was pointed out that we have now hit September 11th, and I wanted to make sure that this got ran before we signed off. So, producer man, do your thing.
We still remember where we were in that moment that changed us forever. A morning that galvanized a nation. Out of fear came strength, and out of tragedy came resilience, and more heroes stepped forward than anyone could ask for. So on this somber anniversary, we remember that there are some things we will never forget.
Oh, God, I wish you would have told me you were going to do that. You suck. Okay.
Jeff Leslie Garcia, still the best voice ever to be on the microphone in the ring in the WWE to sing the national anthem.
I have had in my life been very blessed to have two decent acquaintances, I'll say. I'm not going to call them friends. I'm not going to bullshit myself that much. God, that close up just killed. Oh, Jesus. It scares even me. And Lillian Garcia and our Kings Good Luck Charm and Pia Toscana, who both sing that song just beautifully. And damn it, Jay. Anyway, great to show, Jay. Thank you for that. That was very cool. All right. So,
at the end of the day, I had to tie it back to wrestling, one. And two, for years and years and years, when burning CDs was the trendy thing to do.
Oh, I remember that.
It would be the WWE signature. It would be Lillian singing the national anthem from the September 13th, 2001 performance. It would be insert TV theme here, Raw or SmackDown, and then the Superstars.
Absolutely.
That always was track 2 as soon as the signature was done. That performance.
The first live televised wrestling show I ever went to was WrestleMania 2000. And I heard Lillian sing that night, and I just swooned. And here we are 22 years, whatever it is, 22 years later.
Feels like it was just yesterday, doesn't it? Oh my God.
Right? Seriously, it's like I'm gonna be
I know exactly.
I'm gonna be at near Angel Stadium Monday for the first part of my training stuff, and it's like, man, the pond's right there. It does not feel like 22 and a half years has passed since that WrestleMania event it was. Let's not kid ourselves, but 20 years. 22 years since that WrestleMania. But 9/11, 21 years. It's crazy.
Never forget it. Never
Okay, so do you want me to plug your stuff, or do you actually want to talk about your stuff?
We'll plug your stuff first, then we'll go to my stuff. Then James can do his quote, because I actually had a quote I was going to end with for the episode as well. Then we'll throw to Noah to bring us out as he always do.
So the one I just sent you first, then, since that's going to work backwards.
Because you've got the great inspirational speech to take us out of here, Noah. No further words are needed after your closing statement. But
very true.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So the next 4 premium presentations we're going to have on here, God help us, Bound for Glory. Noah has decided that we're going to go ahead and do that. He's going to call commentary, so we're going to run it. Again, I don't know what my schedule is on these 4 days. I have no idea what the mouse is going to throw at me. Not a clue. But Noah will be here. JJ has agreed to at least produce/run the show, so we got it. Bound for Glory coming up October. It is Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year, even if it's on a Friday night. You jerks. Impact.
Impact.
The next day, we'll have WWE Conservative Suggestions on Peacock and WWE Network. And then the following week, and then the following month, we have we are not going to cover Country Redacted because it's too early in the morning, and freaking covering that UK show nearly kicked my butt. So no.
Although we do need a shirt that says Country Redacted.
We
also need a shirt that says Conservative Rejections for the month of Extreme Rules.
That is coming out for October. I will make that a thing.
Yeah,
but then in November, we will have Hot Times for the NWA, if you will.
That
in New
poster
Orleans,
is amazing.
It's Hard Times on November 12th, and Full Gear, which AEW, we'll see what they do in the next 2 months, man, because that's going to be a hotbed show without a doubt. You will know there is no actual live open mic night on Bound for Glory night because it's a Friday night, but we will have open mic night the next night after Conservative Suggestions on the Peacocks. There you go.
Can I just say, if you look really closely into the eyes of the Hard Times person, you could see the ego of Nick Aldis shine through.
Ow! Trying to get myself unblocked by the National Treasure. You're killing me, Smalls.
All I want to know is, what are they trying to do here, killing me? Like, I just started this job, and I'm pretty much doing all day on Saturdays. I'm probably going to have Noah or James log into my StreamYard so that they can produce until I get home.
Somebody better hope to God that one of us is able to, hopefully the mouse will be kind to me.
I got it. Please provide me an intro, because I don't know if I'll have time to do that.
Just to make us all feel old again. Josh was
Oh my God.
Josh was 4. Oh, Josh was 4. No! I'm 27.
Okay. So
everybody else, get your canes out. Go look for your
Right.
bottles of Rogaine. I think my dentures are in the cup over here.
I got my Ovaltine. We're good to go. Jesus.
I was 9 years old. I was in 4th grade when that crap happened. Jeez.
God, y'all just suck. Anyway, yeah, I will forever remember that day, not just because of what it was, but because I was literally 2 weeks off of my accident. So I watched everything unfold from either my bed recovering or my living room couch recovering from the car wreck. So everything is so visceral and fresh, even now, 21 years later. It's crazy.
I was literally in history class when it happened.
That's creepy.
And my teacher was like, because we had these journals, and our teacher was like, everyone, I want you to get out your journals, and I want you all day to start writing down what's happening.
Right.
Because what you are witnessing right now is history. And I did. And I still have that notebook. It's insane.
Were you guys were you still on the East Coast at that point?
We were in Orlando, so we thought we were at Target.
Oh, well, yeah, because they shut Disney down. That's one of the few times they've shut Disney down outside of scheduled stuff.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
And my dad had an interview at Universal Studios that day.
Holy shit.
And that's an interesting conversation piece. Jeez.
Right. So it got canceled, and they brought me home from school because they were scared because, like we said, we didn't know. I mean, they were hitting landmarks. So we were like, oh, God, Orlando's next. So
yes, Josh is notorious for that.
You need a super chat every time you make one of us feel old, for real.
That's right.
By our ages. By our ages.
Born in $20. Oh my God.
We got babies watching this show. It's freaking, it's past y'all's bedtime. Go to sleep. Jesus Christ.
What
gas is in. Anyway, so in addition to the premium, super, whatever the hell you want to call them shows, we do have our weekly content. And yes, Talk Wrestling is back usual time slot. No, I'm not going to retire it permanently until the mouse tells me I have to, whatever. But this Monday, Dad's Always in Wrestling will feature our top 10 movies set in the school setting because JJ's Renegades Reviews is doing school all month. So we're going to go ahead and keep the theme, brothers.
Yes,
of course, Talk Wrestling too.
Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, we were unable to do the live broadcast last week. So this one on Monday will be a taped episode.
Yes.
However, once we get to the 19th, that will be live again, or are we counting that one too? I don't know.
We have to count that one too. I have an appointment I can't get out of. I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right. You had mentioned that. I just forgot. So that one will be.
It's okay. It's all good.
Continue with your show.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those. I had to make a doctor appointment when the mouse wasn't directing my traffic, so it was what it was. So Monday the 12th for top 10 movies set in school. Talk Wrestling on Tuesday. The Greg Sherry Show. Maybe featuring Jessi again. Why not? We'll have Jessi back all the time. It's all good. Wednesdays, it's every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern 4 Pacific. And next Monday, the 19th, our Dads and Always Wrestling will back to wrestling. And it'll be the top 10 X Division champion. I know it says TNA because I just like the TNA font, so I use that. And there it is. That's the reason why we're doing that show. Because JJ finally got his X title. So,
yeah. Nice.
Very excited about that.
That was my birthday gift from Stat Boy. Thank you once again, Stat Boy, for everyone that missed me opening it up on Stat Boy Sports Bar this week.
Yes.
There it is in all of its shiny glory.
So pretty.
And Josh, I'm not sure if JJ has it starred because he's doing the producer thing. Yes, as we mentioned earlier, all the super chats we garner during the big gauntlet when Greg's defending the championship, or even if he happens to lose, God help us, during that 10-person gauntlet, every super chat garnered during that stream will be from the Jeff Meacham Network, from the Greg Sherry brand, and hopefully from NoDQ.com. Will go into the GoFundMe to help Jessi get everything back together. So we love Jessi.
I will throw it up again, Josh. I've thrown it up a couple times now.
Yes. There you go. And again, coming soon is relative.
Seriously.
WTC does not mean World Trade Center.
No. Kind of ironic.
Going to be a challenge.
Yes. But yeah, sometime in the winter, we will definitely be running that.
Write those questions. And Lord help the person's got to read them all off.
Well, okay. So as of now, since it's Greg versus the world, I think either it really depends on what. Come here, you. Depends what this dude does in the next couple weeks. So we'll see. Anyway,
hours.
Oh boy, start a new job. Oh God. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, Brett. By the way, happy birthday again, Brett. I love you, brother. Anyway. So in addition to the weekly stuff on my channel and the pay-per-views coming up, JJ has a packed week and a packed month. Let's look at that. That is just bananas.
Lord. Girls, clueless.
That's right. I also do, Jessi, a show called Renegades Reviews where I do movie reviews. This month I'm doing movies that take place in a school setting. So we're getting ready to come up on a whole week, well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, of female-led movies. So we've got the 90s classic Clueless. We've got that turn of the century's Mean Girls, Heathers from the 80s with Alicia Silverstone, Lindsay Lohan, and Winona Ryder, respectively. Yep. We've got Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou every Tuesday. She-Hulk, been covering the newest Disney Plus original show every Thursday. And then new release Saturday, Kevin Hart and Mark Wahlberg in Me Time. It is a Netflix original movie that you can check out now on Netflix. And then Sundays, of course, The War Zone, the weekly acquisition report where I show off the newest additions to my ever-growing movie library.
Nice.
Hey, Jessi, I got to ask, when you saw Mean Girls, did that encourage you to write your own burn book ever?
No.
She's not a mean girl. That's why she's doing that.
That's right. She actually a decent person.
I never in a million years. I was more mad at the one that made the girl eat the bars and make her fat. I thought that was
And I don't know if you have the graphic loaded or not, JJ. If you don't, that's fine. I'll just talk about it real quick. October, JJ is doing 31 straight days of either classic horror or classic spooky. Nightmare on Elm Street, Addams Family first, right? Yeah, Addams Family. Nightmare on Elm Street, Addams Family, all 5 Scream movies, Hocus Pocus, and Hocus Pocus 2, which debuts any day now. Yay. All 45 Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Somehow within 13 days, somehow. And
plus, the new release Saturdays all have a spooky tint to them. I'm doing Rob Zombie's Monsters.
Ooh.
I'm doing a movie called Bitch Ass, which is a new horror movie. I want to say it's a streaming original.
Like Kick-Ass, but with a
no.
VHS.
Definitely not like Kick-Ass. And I will say this. The irony of him having bitch ass during his watchings of Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 is not lost on anybody that knows JJ. Because he despises those movies. Oh, and yes, all the control of my life by some sort of rodent, mouse or rat. It is what it is, folks.
Oh, Browns. Let's go, Browns. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Who the Browns playing tomorrow?
Fuck if I know. I'm just
At least she's honest, kids.
Wow.
Fuck if I know, man. I don't give a shit.
No, I do care, but I'm just like.
But at the same time, it's like, damn it, Bottlegate, you couldn't give us one.
No.
I feel bad for the Browns. I really do.
Oh, they're playing. They're playing the team that plays in North Carolina.
Oh, the Panthers.
Carolina.
Oh boy. Yes. Well, here we go.
Well, I'm just like, we're gonna have another 0-16 parade. That's shout out to my friend Chris McNeil who organized that whole parade.
JJ and Noah are going, we don't watch NFL. Can we move on now?
Right. James, you wanted to
I only
give
watch one game a year.
That's right.
I had a
so
quote.
Devastated. Y'all, I don't even, all of my Browns jerseys that are new are, my 2 Browns jerseys that I had were Odell Beckham Jr. who doesn't even play there anymore, and Baker Mayfield who doesn't even play there anymore. I hate it.
You got some great memorabilia, though. That could be worth something if those are kept pristine, right?
No, because my
Not the Mayfield one.
My Tim Couch
I don't know about that one.
My Colt McCoy, my fucking Colt McCoy Browns jersey ain't worth shit.
I was trying to lighten the mood. I don't know anything about football. I only watch one game a year.
In the words of a great talk show sidekick, that Baker Mayfield Browns jersey is a wonderful jersey. For me to poop on. Anyway, there you go. There we go. Carry on.
That's sad.
That's sad, but it's true. But we love you, Jess.
I do have a quote, but I forgot one damn plug, and I can't believe I even forgot this plug. It's actually perfect and timely. So I'm going to start it off, and then we'll segue right into
glasses?
Yes, they are. And there's a reason I'm wearing them. So you guys should check out my CAW league, and it's called Weymouth Youth Wrestling. That's youtube.com/users/WYW Pride. And you know why you should check it out? You want wrestling that's fully fictional and doesn't have IRL bullshit? Check out Weymouth Youth Wrestling. There's my freaking shameless plug. That's why they're on, and now they're off.
I love it. I love it.
So with that said, to go into a semi-serious thing, I wanted to read this quote off because I think it encapsulates this whole podcast to a T. This is what my dad said a while ago now. When people argue, they end up being a position of seeing the other person as a position. All the humanity is lost, especially when they aren't right in front of each other.
Amen.
If we seek to understand what and why people believe something, and if we disagree, realize it is not an unforgivable sin, but a disagreement, then perhaps we can rapture our humanity.
Love it.
Or recapture our humanity.
Preach it,
brother. Rapture. We don't want to rapture.
You're trying to call the second coming? What the world?
Yeah, not rapture. Not rapture. I misspoke. No
rapture
today. I don't need no rapture. I got too much to do. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Bosch can at least 3 F-word count is off the chain because Jessi and James are on the show tonight, so it is what it is.
Sorry.
Team Rocket over here.
Wait a minute, anyway. We use direct.
Oh, Lord. That is
Team Rocket over here.
No,
direct WWE copyrighted.
No, that ain't Team Rocket. Hold on. That ain't Team Rocket. That Team Fuck It.
That's even worse.
Hey. Yeah.
All
it's all about the money's not gonna have anyway. We used a WWE copyrighted video, and I used a Phantasmic thing for Brett's birthday. We ain't making shit tonight.
This already was the most.
As long as you don't say them within the first 30 seconds of the video, you're good.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, swear words, yeah, but the music, I'm screwed. Yeah.
You're gonna get claimed by WWE. That being said, this definitely was a priceless conversation, Jessi. I hope to definitely engage you more, whether it's on this or anything wrestling on this platform again too. This was a wonderful joy having you here.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
It's wonderful to be here.
And Josh, it gets you brownie points only if you make sure they're special brownies and you send some to Phil Brooks in Chicago.
Anyway, please.
Make him chill out.
That's right.
I beg.
JJ, you had a quote, and then we'll have Noah take us home.
Yes. Often on open mic night, the topics can get very serious, very heated. So what I wanted to start doing with this being the season premiere is I wanted to try to, whether it's in music or movies, try to find some kind of inspirational quote to try to wrap up the shows on. And tonight's quote comes from a man that I admire, John Lennon. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the damn truth? Look at that.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Hey, man.
Something to think about.
Begins with a single step.
Yeah.
Jessi, once again, thank you for being here. Jeff, thank you for being able to come on.
Yeah, I'm so glad I was here.
Noah, James, pleasure as always doing this with you. Noah, take us out as you always do.
I just hope, if nothing else, everybody gained one thing. Be a better human being and just enjoy wrestling. But that being said, if people do want to know more about me, know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of, what's the words I'm looking for? Oh, yeah. Professional wrestling! Damn it! But I digress. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, the entire W fan on Twitter, especially to Eric and Anthony. I hope, James, if you want to try and tell them, I hope they personally engage in this conversation and tonight's episode of Might Night 2. And may it once again remind them, remember, you enjoy wrestling as a fan. Don't let social media take that away from you. Or any bullcrap you see in out of the industry, too, allegedly. But I digress. And again, as far as stuff that goes for me, I don't have really anything going on this week. For once, I can take it easy. Hey! But shout out to... Yeah, I know, right? Seven days of straight streaming. Good Lord Almighty. I need a freaking break. So I'll just be doing my usual Daily Slam coverage of all Elite Wrestling, Dynamite, and Rampage this week. And then next week, of course, I have the Impactful Duo with me and the new normal, Jerry, insert last name here, as we talk about Victory Road. And of course, keep posted here for all other things that I might come forward to discuss that these engaging individuals will sure to bring forward to my attention too. But as always, let it conclude. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. There are just fans with their own opinions for this passion that we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling too. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. And that is why Noah takes us out each week. Thank you once again to everybody for tuning in for the season premiere of Open Mic Night. We will catch you guys next week.
You like jazz?